what's going on? And Nuke Em High, what's going on? And Nuke Em High, what's going on? And Nuke Em High, what's going on?
We got taglines?
Oh, we do. We got some great... Well, actually, there's only one, right?
Okay.
But it really works, especially for this kind of pseudo-remake, okay?
Yeah.
Reading, writing, and radiation again.
Okay.
Right?
I'll allow it.
I mean, it works, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I do not have a gross for this film. I do not have a budget to report, but
Because
maybe...
the film was just that gross.
Maybe Lloyd himself will provide that next week.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I do have is the rundown here. We got 2 sex scenes, 10 pairs of breasts, 3 penises, including a 3-foot heart-eating penis, 2 man asses, 1 dildo monster, 1 melting penis, 1 fully melted person, 1 female masturbation, 2 male masturbations, 1 man fully engulfed in flames, 1 exploding boy, 1 dog tossed over a waterfall, 1 duck stuffed in a mouth, 8 instances of vomit, 1 mutant pregnancy, 1 blowjob, 1 fetus monster, 1 monster through the chest, 1 human heart, 1 pair of lactating spray breasts, 2 eyeball explosions, and 1 nose ring rip out, with 12 human deaths, 1 dog death, a 5.5 on IMDb, a 40 Metascore, and a 57% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2013's Return to Nuke Em High, Volume 1. Let's drop some bombs.
Attention, please. This is not a drill. This is a nuclear emergency.
We mutated, and my wheelchair is illogically mutated too. And I think I can feel my legs.
April Fool. I got duck rape. What do we have to be afraid of?
I'm Papa, the film.
This machine just called me an asshole.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Welcome to Bombs Away. My name is Jonathan Young. Joining me in the studio, as always, is...
Damn, Jarrett.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Well, this is the episode where you get to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's a remake.
Just try all over again.
Right? Like I said, welcome to Bombs Away. It is the only podcast recorded inside a projection booth. We are the show that drops bombs on Hollywood's bombs. So if you're listening and joining us for the first time, welcome, especially all you Troma fans out there. This is basically our introduction. This is our school of Troma.
And I just bombed.
Right?
I have a lot better ones. Go to the rest of the episodes.
I swear, this is...
I had gone out last night, and someone was like, the only thing we're drinking tonight are Red Bull vodkas. So then I was awake for about 23 hours, slept for 5 hours, and then now my body doesn't know what is going on. But I'm here.
Yay!
But
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. But
I didn't die.
Right? Not like everybody else in this film.
Yeah.
Right? So what I kind of prefaced, and if this is the one that you're joining us on, I actually recommend that you go to the previous episode that we just did yesterday, which is a Class of Nuke Em High 1986, and kind of start from there, because as those who are frequent fans and listeners of the show know, is that if you haven't seen the movie that we're doing, we kind of walk you through the whole thing.
At least the good parts.
Right. We walk you through, we rag on it as much as possible, but something that we're not quite used to all the time is that sometimes we stumble upon a movie that knows that it's a B movie. And anything in Troma's library knows 100% what its audience is and who it's going for. And when it comes to now this film, and Return to Nuke Em High, it is completely self-referential and is in on its own jokes. So while there are going to be some things that we're going to pick apart, for the most part, we're just kind of gonna fan coast through this one because it was a lot of fun, you know? Very real. So you want to dive in?
Yeah.
All right. So I have to say that it was a really cool touch to start off the film with Stan Lee like they did in the trailer.
Yeah.
I thought that was just going to be like a trailer thing to get you hooked, but it actually turned out he did the entire introduction. So you don't necessarily have to listen to our episode because Stan actually caught you up pretty well.
Yeah.
Right? I love in this introduction that they kind of poke fun at Nuke Em Highs 2 and 3. Being like, yeah, let's fast forward through that bullshit, right?
We don't need to see it.
Yeah, this movie does a lot of breaking of the fourth wall, right? So in a movie that breaks the fourth wall, you can't really, and a movie that openly says, like, in a logical move in the plot, like literally says that on title cards, being like, I don't know how it got there, stuff. You can't really pick apart things that don't quite make sense in a movie like this, so this is a very abnormal episode for us. Yeah. So all we can do is really go scene for scene, and also if you're listening out there and you saw this and you have questions for Lloyd, write them in the next 24 hours because we're going to be sitting down with Lloyd Kaufman and presenting questions that people had about Troma in general, the past 40 years of Troma history, and any plot details that you wanted to figure out. I know from part 1 that I want to know what happened to the Warren is a mutated monster subplot. You know, that's a burning question for me. You know, I want to know why Warren was like basically a second Toxic Avenger that never came to be after he killed 2 people.
I know.
And this movie kind of does elaborate more because, like we said, it's a sequel. This is actually part 4, but it's a pseudo remake in a way. Kind of like I think the best example would be Vacation, where the Vacation that Ed Helms came out with like 2 or 3 years ago, is kind of a remake of the original and them going to Wally World, but it's Rusty trying to relive his past. Yeah. So it's in that like vein where I'm like, bravo. Like it doesn't say fuck you to the fans of the like it's what the female Ghostbusters should have been. Honestly.
Ghostbusters.
Right? We wouldn't have hated on that movie so hard.
I liked that movie.
I hate that movie so much.
Yeah, but you're a Ghostbusters fan.
Oh, hugely. But I think the public as a whole wouldn't have hated on it if the other guys passed down.
We all know why the public hated on it.
Well, I think we would have accepted it if the other guys would have passed the torch, honestly. If they were in the movie as their original characters and passed the torch down and was like, we're too old for this shit.
Well, that's just an entirely
that would have been great.
Movie.
Yeah.
Well, neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zool could have came back.
He's supposed to.
Yeah, I know.
But then people are like, we didn't like it enough, so we're not making a sequel.
Right.
It's like, well, the sequel's what you wanted. They have to reestablish to get,
Yeah.
There's certain steps.
Anyway, let's dive in.
Yeah.
Again, because we already said we're diving in.
I literally don't
got
remember the start of this movie.
Stan Lee introduces basically everything. Yeah, that was great. And then this is an insane opening.
Yeah.
So like you get no, not the factory yet. You get pretty much a montage establishing the school. You have a blind security guard that keeps popping up every once in a while, which is great. People are going through metal detectors, and what I do have to say about this film right from the start, and it never lets down, is that it is making social commentaries about the world that we currently live in hardcore. Right? Like the metal detecting for guns in high school.
We haven't had a school shooting in 3 days, and then there is like, oh, don't worry, it's just a school shooting. CNN doesn't even report on those anymore, which I was like, oh.
So, like, yeah, right? So, like, all the comments that we made in the last episode, and we were very, like, treading on water, we hadn't seen this yet. Yeah. And now it's like, well, I don't need to apologize for, well, I would if I said something really bad on this episode, but, like, I feel like the movie itself says everything that we could possibly say, like even in the lights of the past
well, I mean,
month
they're just
of
saying
things that have happened.
The truth.
Right.
It's not like they're making fun of it. They're just like, oh, isn't it sad that this is the society we live in?
I know, right? So, we kind of get a more expanded version from the first movie where a couple goes down into the basement and starts having sex. In the first movie, just some ooze dripped on them, and she was like, oh, you came on me early, you know, and that was it. This is like an extremely expanded version of it.
It's like the pipe breaks, the ooze starts coming out and like burning them, but then also there's the monster.
A monster
already.
that's it's a dildo.
It's a turd. I thought.
Right? I thought it was it looked like a black dildo.
It looked like a turd to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But
it goes in the guy's butt.
It goes in the guy's butt, right?
And she's like, "Ooh, your wiener." But then he comes, but he's just coming blood, constant blood.
Yes, he's spraying
but
blood.
Then his dick falls off.
There's a lot going on in this, right? So like he comes, he sprays blood instead of cum all over her, and then because the monster's inside him, I guess it not only makes his, I guess toxic waste is also acidic. I'm not quite. I'm not a wasteologist. I don't know, but. It just like in the first movie and a lot of other Troma films, like it does whatever the plot needs it to do, right? So some people get superpowers, some people melt immediately.
Yes.
And in this case, he sprays all over her, which in turn, I guess his blood and cum is acidic, and she melts away. Meanwhile, his dick falls off and he runs away. So you don't know if he dies, but she melts into a pile of bloody mush and bones, right? And then a janitor comes with a nudie magazine.
Splooge.
Splooge magazine. And there's also a Splooge website. And he just sits down and sees the body and is like, meh. And then the title, Return to Nuke Em High, comes up, right? I love that we live in a world of Tromaville, in which I assume that this is just like for him to be like meh, like he's seen 40 years worth of Troma incidences, right? Because this movie, at least when it's not breaking the fourth wall, lives within the rest of the Tromaverse. Like Toxie's at the party, and there's a Toxic Avenger figure. Like, and when she's writing her blog, so there's a Toxic Avenger poster in her room too. So there are hints that they live within the world, but then also, I guess one could assume that just like I would assume eventually in the Marvel's movie hero world, there's going to be films made of the Avengers within that universe, like somebody's they make an Avenger movie based on a true story kind of thing. I would love that in joke in the Avengers movies, honestly.
That'd be good.
To the point where, like, I don't know, Captain America's like, I hate the guy playing me or something. Like, it'd be fun, right? But I'd like to imagine that this is the world that Tromaville people live in, is this world where Toxie is alive and he saves Troma from all the problems in Tromaville, but then they've also made a movie. And that's me not having seen more than the first Toxie, so maybe it got self-referential to that point. I don't know. Like I said, we have a lot of movies I've wanted to see in the Troma library, especially like Troma's War, where I see it like a giant body count of people, just like very Commando style, just people just being gunned down and Sergeant Kabuki Man, which there's history that happens in this film and every movie since Kabuki Man. Did you notice in this film there's the Cretans are chasing like a random couple people in a car, but the footage looks old and like it just flips. So Lloyd, since Kabuki Man, that stunt cost them millions of dollars to do, he has used it in every film since, just recycled it as an in-joke.
That's good.
So that's why it just keeps showing up. And he'll literally just film actors in the same type of car, so it's the same color and everything for internal shots, and then just use the final like flip and explosion. So that's the kind of in stuff that's been going on. But there's this whole library of things that I we've been holding back on that. I don't know how much, because there's another thing in this film where, remember, she has the duck in her mouth, and she goes by a guy with he's like taken hostage by a group of girls.
Yeah, it's Judah Friedlander.
Okay,
he's from 30 Rock.
And is
he's
it
in 30
really
Rock,
him?
Yeah,
it looks like him.
That's him 100%.
Oh, okay. So
I've rewatched that series multiple times.
And he's in
him.
front of the Troma Studios, roll down door, and he's there. And it's a throwaway joke, but I feel like there's more to that joke that I'm missing. I know that the girl with the giant beehive is from Class of Nuke Em High 2.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it's the same actress, but I know it's the same look, like with this beehive thing. But I feel like there's more to that. And if those of you out here who are listening are like, yeah, dumbasses, it's from this, this, and this, I'm sure in a film like this, there's so many references we missed.
Yeah.
So why don't you just educate us? Let us know. You guys are, if you're listening and you joined us for the first time because you're Troma fans and you heard about us from Lloyd's Instagram or Twitter, or you were at the premiere. We're holding back on so many because we want to do them as episodes, but I want to be shocked. I want to be as shocked as I was for this, right? And this is a great example. This opening scene, I was just like, that's how we're starting this?
Right.
Like, that was insane, right? And then I was like, okay, we're on a whole new level here, right? So now we're introduced to Lloyd Kaufman himself playing the Hertzkopf is his name, and he is the Troma Organic Foodstuff Incorporated president. Now, Troma Organic is the original site of the nuclear power plant that's behind the school. Mm-hmm. They tore down the nuclear power plant. I would assume probably rebuilt it somewhere else because there's still waste everywhere, right? But
there's
Troma
waste,
Organic,
like, in the parks, there's waste just
everywhere.
Sitting. It's like all the buildings fell down, but they still had the containers.
Right.
Probably not good.
I mean, it's got a half-life of like a million years or something, right? And so Troma Organic is a corrupt food company that basically is pretending to be organic and healthy for you, and it has vegan products and like everything that, we kind of roll our eyes at in today's society.
Gluten-free tacos.
Right. And
I'm gluten-free, so I thought it was hilarious. It's
right?
like,
and all the villains in this are over the top and disturbing.
Yeah.
Lloyd's is funny because he's over the top, but in like a fun, like old manish way.
Constantly having milk poured on him.
Yeah, right?
Like, okay.
But it's the principle that I'm like, oh, don't show him. Like he was like a walking Larry Flint. Like it was just gross, right? And then what's also funny is I don't know if they were going for this joke or not, but he also reminds me of like Alex Jones, like just completely conservative, like against those who were like writing blogs and like the liberal media.
He makes jokes about being like Reagan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's clearly,
which I was like very spot on, like fat Reagan.
Yeah.
Sorry, robust Reagan.
Robust Reagan. But he's gross. Like I'm just like, I don't want to look at this guy.
Yeah. That always makes me uncomfortable in movies and TV shows where it's like it's really good because it's like that's how I would react in real life, not wanting to look at them. But like I literally don't want to watch this right now because they're disgusting.
Right.
Like
he was the most disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say big people are disgusting. That's not what I mean. But they're clearly. They found like the biggest, grossest people they can to gross us out. Like that's kind of the point, right? And it's working, at least on my level, where I'm like, this guy's like sometimes he crosses his eyes, and that's even more disturbing. And he's
got like the Willard haircut.
Oh God, it's so gross. So basically, they have released a new taco that they're going to distribute out to the school for Taco Tuesdays, and it's gluten-free tacos, and it's clearly contaminated with nuclear waste.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody knows why, but it's also, like I said, logic doesn't matter in this. So, like, just know that there they are, and they're going to be distributed.
You know?
What?
I just had like the weirdest brain blast.
Oh.
Antigen X.
Okay.
So, remember in the second X-Men when they're like, oh, we can give people superpowers too by doing this, right?
In what? X-Men United? The one with Nightcrawler?
Yeah, I think so. Because there's Antigen X and it's supposed to be like cure them, but then there's also like the reverse of it where it gives people superpowers. But I was like, because what I'm getting at now is like the chemical very much seems like that, to where it's like you don't know how people are going to react to it. So some people it could legitimately just kill, and then other people it could superpower up.
I get it.
And I was like, oh, it's like X-Men. I just figured that out.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, but the people who do get kind of like superpowers seem first zombie-ish.
Yeah.
But then they're normal, and they've just changed it. Like, it's one of those things where I said it's like it doesn't quite make sense what the rules are for when you get contaminated.
Yeah.
Like, it anything goes, right? So now we're introduced to Chrissy and Eugene, right?
Yeah.
Now, Chrissy and Eugene are parked in a car, and they're making out, and Chrissy is topless, and Eugene is trying his best to go down on her. And she's not feeling it. She's coming up with a million excuses. I'm on the rag. You were on the rag last week. Yeah, but I have a headache, and, like, you know, I have toxic shock syndrome, and, like, all this stuff, right? Then Eugene goes on this rant, right? And I'm gonna play the rant. Hold on.
What is it?
It's that time of the month, and it's a horror movie down there, so...
Again? That's what you said last week.
You know, I have toxic shock syndrome from all the tampons, and I got a headache. So,
Look, Chrissy, I think you're super sexy in a butch kind of way, which is weird because what does that say about me? But we've been talking about having sweet, sweaty, dirty, kinky, really weird, fucked up teenage sex in my big, blue, white cream leather seat Eldorado for months now, and this is all I get?
It's insane, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. But it's so funny, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's out of control, right?
Starts jerking off, but he can't open the magazines to his nudie magazine because they're so, like, cum-closed.
So here's...
sealed shut
here's
for her protection.
And this is the theory, and like I said, I really do love this movie.
Sealed shut because of his erection.
Yeah.
That one's better.
Once again, I have to preface it before I make this critique. Love this movie.
Yeah.
Had such a blast with it. But this is something that I feel like permeates the production as a whole, right? Is that he had this amazingly comedic monologue, right? The show is frustration and like that they haven't had sex, and he's just like going crazy over not having sex, right? And I feel like that was enough.
Yeah.
This whole like I need to show him masturbating and going insane is what I think happens in this movie a lot, is that like you made your point, you made the joke, but then you took it too far. You went over the, off the rails. You went so over the top
that
now you're like, move on.
But isn't that the Troma
It is.
trope?
No, it is all the way.
So why would you critique it then if you know that's what it is?
I know. No, what I'm critiquing...
Jonathan.
Hey.
I'm kidding. Just get scary.
He
yelled.
What I'm critiquing about this is that, like, this movie... differentiates itself between a lot of other Troma films in its look, its film production. Like it looks better. It seems to be smarter and funnier than other things. Like it's somewhere setting itself above the rest, right?
Yeah.
And then I really think that this film could have climbed out of its own reputation of a Troma film and went on to be like a possible remake if sometimes you didn't cross that line that I'm speaking of, where it's like, that was super good, that was great, that was the best take, you don't need to masturbate. No, you don't don't pull your dick out, it's fine, you don't need to masturbate.
But at the same time, like we just said, like, it is Troma.
Right.
So it's like, then it wouldn't be a Troma film.
Right. I just mean, like, it feels like, and maybe this is a great example of, like, me, like, at work, when you're just like, you don't have to go this far.
Masturbate at work.
Yeah. Just meaning, like, you made the joke, you made everybody laugh, you don't need to keep going this far.
Yeah.
You know? And that's like, my sole critique of the whole thing, is that sometimes I'm like, what a great scene, like, that was clever, it was smart, and
it just goes on a touch too long. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't think it was too bad. For me, what really always gets me is just, like, useless gore, but in this even, like... there was useless gore, but it was just kind of... The only thing that I had an issue with was the ripped-off penis, just because I'm like, ooh, ow. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Sure.
Yeah. We also get introduced to the new girl.
Lauren.
After this. Lauren. So she's the new girl. They call her, like, the rich bitch.
Yeah. Which I don't see any signs of her being quite rich.
It doesn't show that she's rich besides, like, her being in her own house.
Right.
Oh, she's got a pet duck.
I mean, rich.
Yeah. Rich means pet duck that you keep in a dog cage.
Yes, she has a duck, Kevin the duck, right? And
Kevin the duck.
I'm still not quite sure
Nathan the dog.
Kevin's purpose in this film.
Trent the cat.
Stop.
Jessica the goldfish.
Okay. So
Greg the hamster.
I'm not understanding. Stop. Just stop. I'm not understanding Kevin's real purpose because
it's a bit more clear than Tiffany the gerbils.
Oh my god!
Just tromaing that, keeping it going.
I know, right? well done. But Kevin seems to, I don't know what the idea. And this is a question for Lloyd. Like what? And maybe it'll get explained when we watch Return to, where it's like here's Kevin's full purpose because. This film...
Well, we see Kevin lay eggs and we see Kevin run off.
Yeah.
And it's very much a to-be-continued film, so...
Right.
Yeah, I do think we don't have his full purpose yet.
Okay.
I like to think we don't have his full purpose
I like
yet.
to think that, too. The poster behind you, because we have Troma posters all over our studio.
No. I'm not looking at it. I've put it behind me.
Jesus
Literally.
Christ. Shows a very duck-like creature there up in the corner. That might be Kevin, you know? But then Kevin's also in the heroine's arms in the center of the poster, too. So I'm not quite sure. People are like, well, who cares? Because we saw it at the premiere tonight. So, like, your answer's like, moving on. So now we introduced that Chrissy is a person who is writing a blog. And we have a voiceover, and she's like, 18 views on the blog. And I was like, oh, it feels like our show.
Yeah. But then it turns out it's just the principal that's been looking at the blog 18 times.
Right. And then we're introduced to Chrissy's aunt.
Because Chrissy's parents are dead.
Right.
She's an orphan. She's like, oh, you must be so sad because you're an orphan.
Mm-hmm. This is also, they make some sort of joke that will lead to... something else in the movie, and then they go, oh, what's that? And there's a 4 in a shadow on the wall, like a gobo. And like I'm like, oh, we're in like scary movie realm now.
She goes, oh, that's foreshadowing.
I was like,
the number 4 on the wall. It's hilarious.
I was sitting in my room and I like did a slow clap. I was like, well done, guys.
Well, what is she says? She says maybe someday you'll find a man that'll make you that happy, and it's like, da-na-na-na. What's that? Oh, it's foreshadowing,
right?
Because a man isn't gonna make her happy.
Yeah.
A woman is.
So this is another. There's another
or beef curtain pussy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ugh. She does. Yeah, she does mention that. Gross.
Although anytime anyone ever calls it like beef or roast beef, I just think of sandwiches, then I get hungry, which is weird because I would not be the one that you would think would get hungry when talking about roast beef curtains. Or like ham wallet. I'm like, yeah, put some ham in my wallet. I'm hungry. I love a good ham.
And people ham wallet?
You've never heard that?
No.
In the meat locker.
I heard that one.
Yeah, no, there's a whole song
wallet.
about it's the people it's the song Foxtrot, Uniform, Charlie, Kilo. It's the people that did that Candy Heart just threw at me.
Yep.
The people that did the Animal Planet song.
I wouldn't do that.
Camel and do it like we do on the Discovery Channel.
That's not Animal Planet.
You and me, baby.
Yes,
ain't
it's
nothing.
the Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah, the Bloodhound Gang. They
Right.
did a song that's like it's called Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo.
Okay,
It spells fuck.
yeah.
But they say in the ham wallet, in the meat locker, in the what other things do they say? They say a bunch of innuendos, and like they even say the word innuendo in that song. I love. It's my like. It's one of my songs from like early high school or middle school when I would like be like, yeah, I'm listening to words I shouldn't be listening to, and it's funny and like, gross.
I knew the whole Discovery Channel rap.
Yeah.
Like, just
everyone does.
Oh yeah,
we all love it,
right?
If you were like a guy, you loved that song.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure girls did too.
Yeah. So now we're switched back over to Lauren and Kevin. It's the next morning, and Kevin the duck is missing, and all she has is a feather.
And they also can't find Sally the parakeet.
Okay, we're done with that joke. See, just like a Troma film, it just goes on too long. So
Heather the horse, though, she was fine. They found her in the stables.
Now you're doing alliteration that wasn't even appropriate.
Because I love alliteration. I can't.
I do too. But she finds one feather from him, and she takes it and sticks it in her cap.
Yes!
And then she just yells at macaroni. Like, I am watching this film, and I'm like, this is Jared's movie.
That was the best. Like, majority of the film, I was just sitting and watching, like, this is kind of dumb. This is kind of dumb. But it was moments like that where she just goes, macaroni, and then runs out of the room. And I was like, she stuck a feather in her head and called it macaroni. I got so excited. But it's also
Look at the joke, Mom.
It's the stupidest thing though, because she even like she goes into Kevin's cage and I just woke up. I don't know if you've been listening to this episode, but I've just been sitting here like I'm not alive right now. But I just woke up because of that stupid joke. But she like goes in the cage, is like, did he leave me any clues? And she finds a feather and then just macaroni.
Yep. And
it's
now
so stupid.
Now we're introduced to a couple more shots of like high school life. The principal is saying that like, yeah, I went on and checked Lettuce Lover 69's like blog 18 times, and this is where they're showing shots of like boys getting showers and girls getting showers, and like every single adult is like a trash human in this film. Like they're just all gross and disturbing.
Well, see, I think that's also part of the social commentary is majority of adults are gross and disturbing.
Trash humans. Yeah.
Look at us.
I know, right? Nobody wants
we
us.
both just burped at the same time.
Yeah, we did.
That was actually kind of creepy.
We're half drunk here, so what do
I
you
watched
want?
you. I'm not.
Oh, I thought
you've had 2 hard ciders, and I've had 1 hard cider and half a glass of wine.
You just broke the entire illusion that I was going for.
Oh, I just ruined. I was like, "You're a bitch.
You're a lying bitch."
We've had 18 shots. I'm kidding.
Yay.
Just kidding. I did 13 shots in the span of 6 hours one night, and I should have probably died. I don't know if you know this, but my BMI doesn't exist because I'm essentially skeleton.
Yeah.
So 13 shots should kill me.
Yeah, and no, it should. So, speaking of killing, the Taco Tuesday is in full effect.
Yeah.
And the students...
greenest guac you've ever seen.
Yeah. The students aren't all eating it, though.
Only
specifically the Glee Club poofs, right? They're the Troma poofs.
I forgot what, like, that was a thing, and so I thought you meant, like, the Glee Club poofs, like they vanish,
right?
And the air went poof.
No, the Troma
like, they
poofs.
just vanished, like, oh, they poofed from the situation.
Right.
Which now I just want to start using that. Hey, I'm going to poof, but let me know if you need anything. And people be like, you're going to shit? What does that mean?
Right.
But, like, runs away, cloud that says poof. Poof.
So, the Glee Club is eating them, but also... this nerdy kid, which seems to be a reference to the nerd kid from the first one, right?
There's a good handful of tables, though. There's even, like, the jock table. But then the table that, like, our main group sits at, there's a sign on the table that says, like, losers with brown bags, which is just like they brought their lunch.
Yeah. Loser. Can't pay for your own lunch. Yeah, what a loser.
It's more expensive to buy lunch at school.
Way
Okay,
more.
you want to know how a nerd I was in high school? I went through, I looked at the cost of my dad paying for my lunches, and I looked at the cost of buying my own, like going every single Sunday evening. It was my own little alone time, like therapy. I'd go to the store alone on a Sunday evening, and I'd buy my groceries for my lunch, and I'd like put it all together. I found it was more expensive for me to buy lunch at school than it was for me to go to the store and like buy things. So then I was like, Dad, can I just have $20 each week to go and buy my own lunches? And he was like, okay. Saves me money. I was such a loser.
Yeah.
God, that's what happens when you're in high school and you're super depressed because you're a closeted homosexual. So you analyze budgets. The fuck? That's why I'm upset that I didn't live my life when I was in high school. Looking at lunches.
Because
how can I make my dad happy? I dropped out of cross country. Fuck me.
Maybe he'll be happier when I come out if I've saved him money.
No, then I got a theater degree, so I wasted a lot of money, but that's okay.
It's like, it's obvious. You don't have to. I'll just buy school lunches. It's fine.
It's like, I don't care about you. You're the youngest of 3.
No, you're going to eat
but
school lunch because
the joke is now I'm the most successful out of the 3, so... Actually, I'm the second most successful. Well, my brother's just in IT, so I don't see that as success. Oh, sorry to everyone that's in IT.
Yeah. Also, like, you live with him, so like he's gonna hear this and he's gonna be pissed.
Oh, you think my brother listens to this?
Oh,
my brother doesn't care.
We can't even get family support.
I know.
Only your mom. Your mom loves it.
Literally, yeah. Who's Jama Seifert?
Yep.
Oh, that's my mom. Like, I was like, yeah, no, that's mine. That's me. That's my contribution to the show.
That's the only likes we have. Thanks.
My dad does it too, though. If I post
Sometimes,
on Instagram, he likes on Instagram.
Nice.
He's a big Instagram person rather than Facebook.
Yeah. My mom doesn't quite want to advertise the things like this, right? Because all her Facebook friends are church friends.
Did you know So at our job, at our place, I also use our place of work as a classroom to teach things and stuff.
Sure.
So we talk about social media in one of these programs that I facilitate. And I had a group of like high schoolers. They were like 15 and 16-year-olds. And none of them have a Facebook because for them, Facebook is for old people. The number of times I've been told by a child,
what are they doing?
Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat is like their social media.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to hate Facebook too, though.
Yeah. Well, because I think Facebook is too much of a conglomerate. Is that the right word?
I mean,
it's just too much in one place.
Yeah.
And now people are going to like Twitter where it's like you just say things. Instagram, you just show things. Snapchat, it's just a quick throwaway. So it's like they have those different compartments where Facebook definitely even tries to get everything.
Yeah.
Which I think people are like, no.
Yeah. Then you see way more sponsored posts, like stuff that you don't care about.
Well, Instagram's starting to get really annoying with it too.
Yeah, but I don't see that as much.
I do. The number of times I'm like, crap, I liked an ad again. Which just means that they're actually doing good with their advertising.
Yeah, I'm like...
Meanwhile, Facebook is like, you looked
at
onesies last week. You want 18 onesies? I'm like, jeez, I don't care about onesies. Stop showing me them.
No, what Facebook tends to do to me is like, you bought this. Would you like to buy it again? Like, I'm like, no, if you did your research beyond I landed on that page, you'd know I actually bought the book. So, like, don't advertise that I need to go get the book.
You buy books?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't buy books? Sometimes I like the hardbound version of something.
I buy books. I love reading. I just didn't expect, like,
me?
You.
Well, it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. Ready Player One.
Now I'm just curious about what you actually read.
Kevin Smith's biography.
Okay.
The book I just bought is to prepare for tomorrow, the interview. Like, I bought everything I learned about filmmaking, I learned from The Toxic Avenger, which is a story of Troma's Studios.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you want to borrow it and read it in 24 hours? It's 300 pages. It's,
it's doable.
But, yeah, it just depends. And because I buy a lot of books on VHS culture as well.
Oh, I thought you were about to say I buy a lot of books on VHS.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. That's one way to do a book.
Yep. Just pop it into my old VCR.
One of the best TV shows that was, you'll understand everything about me if you ever watch it, is called Happy Endings. And it's amazing. It was cut too short. But one of my favorite
Showtime, right?
No, it was ABC. It was ABC, and it was cut before 3 seasons.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like the massage thing.
No, was that.
That's an HBO one. Or
that
Showtime.
was like a movie. But
okay.
Happy Endings is a TV show about 6 friends that live in Chicago. And it's just hilarious. But one of my favorite lines is, yeah, I know things. I heard it in a book I heard.
Yeah.
I heard it in a book I heard. Which actually is like where society is going today. Majority of people that like on podcasts are like, oh, I listen to books. I don't read them anymore. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, we are. This show is a product of the culture that we live in. Yeah,
sound culture.
Like people love this kind of stuff.
So back in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know how we
happened.
got that far
went
off
real
on that
far.
one. That was way far.
And we already revealed that we're kind of technically sober.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But
crazy. They're like, at least that gay kid started talking.
Yeah.
So there's a
now
party.
He's active.
Well, no. So we're at lunch, and then the nerd guy. It's the same thing as the first movie. The nerd guy, he has a taco, and then things start getting weird. He starts kind of like melting.
He's convulsing. He's got like toxic waste. Like, and that's the weird part is that like the people who seem to melt or stuff, like they have more toxic waste coming out of them than what was consumed.
Yeah,
constantly, right? Because it's spewing out of his ears like fountain, like in both directions, and he kind of convulses and shakes. But then he combusts.
Yeah, he just straight up fires,
bursts into flames. Which, well done. Yeah. That's a real human in flames stunt. Like,
except the mask was a little.
But whatever. Like I at this point, like
you know what you're in for. At that point.
And it's still a full. Yeah. That's a full human in flames. Yeah. Like, so it doesn't matter. Like,
and then, like, he falls to the ground. He melts as well. It's just a disintegrating theme.
They also have the joke of like he's running by some people and they're fighting over like Justin Bieber being the best.
Yeah, it's 2 teachers from the school. It's like, I think Justin Bieber's great. But you ever see whenever they're like, okay, I want you, and it happens in movies. I hate it so much. They tell background actors to do something and like live it up because we're going to film it just as a throwaway. But then they don't know what else to say. So they're like, your character is going to be arguing that Justin Bieber's the best. Instead of being like, Justin Bieber's amazing. His world tour for Stand Up BU was sold out, and his copies of something he did.
Belieber.
I don't know. But like that would be convincing. But instead he's just like, Justin Bieber's great. Justin Bieber's the best. Justin Bieber's really good is like their argument.
But it also like doesn't like it's not supposed to be something like that you're supposed to overhear anyway, because the focus should be the man in flames, and instead like not only he runs by them and then he bursts into flames and then it goes back to them after like the kid is like passed out on the sidewalk burning, and the head winds up like spewing blood out the top like a fountain too. And then they go back to that, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what I said. Justin Bieber's the best."
Yeah,
right. And I was like, "Wow, this is really driving that one home, right?" Yeah. And meanwhile, that happened, and like I said, the Glee Club was eating them as well, but you don't see anything happen to them quite just yet. Meanwhile, also in this scene, Chrissy and Lauren have a girl fight because Lauren accidentally splashes Chrissy with water. And they have a girl fight, and they both get detention. After this, then there's a wake that happens.
Who's awake?
You now.
She's awake. George, she's awake!
So there's a wake for the nerd kid who just burst into flames.
Scary Movie 3.
George, she's awake. And
I just whispered to myself.
And I know you did. Like I couldn't hear it. So in this wake, like there's a kid that's a protester and being like, no, like Troma genetic, or what are they called? I'm sorry. They're Troma organic. They're like, no, Troma organic poisoned us, and they were like, get him out of here. And there's another blind security guard bit that I love.
Yeah, they pull the kid out, but then the blind security guard's pulling on a girl, and the girl just goes, "You have the wrong person, idiot!" Like, it's like, stop.
Right? There's so many great little throwaway bits like this, and then now the Glee Club here, right? This is from somebody who was in vocal music and stuff like that. The songs that they're singing...
Oh, they're all...
they're barbershop. They're not...
No, but they're not... It's not even that they're barbershop. It's all... what's that stuff? No rights.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah,
they're all
royalty free.
Yes, they don't have royalty.
Right?
Thank you.
But what they're saying, they're all barbershop, so they actually have no female voices, even though they have a female right in there. But you're right; it's like Sweet Adeline, Old Lang Syne, like stuff like this.
The main one that they sing is Amazing Grace.
They do Amazing Grace
because
here.
It immediately made me think of my favorite Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Touch of Satan.
Oh yeah,
because they use
with just
Amazing
a touch
Grace.
Of Satan, it'll get every spot out in the room.
With just a touch of Satan in your eye. They use Amazing Grace in that though, and they even call it out as being like, "Oh, don't have to worry about copyright."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I understand that, but also, it just being somebody who did barbershop music and like Dapper Dan type stuff. I'm like.
Oh, I did a Dapper Dan.
Yeah? Yeah, I know you did.
I was like, oh, we're on air. Cut that in post.
Yeah, nope, it's out there.
No cutting.
It's not the first time you've admitted to it either. But that's what this kind of stuff is, right? Yeah. And it's the only thing I wish that maybe they could have, like, latched on to 2 or 3 songs. I don't know how much songs cost. I'm not a songologist.
I wish they could have done a bit more of it to like.
I wish they could have gleed it up more.
Yeah, I wish they would have made fun of Glee more because I really hated Glee.
Oh, I did too.
The first, like, the idea of it was actually like every gay kid's dream. 100%.
What, Glee?
Oh, let me pretend, or like let me be in high school and then walk around, and whenever I have a feeling, I just sing about it, and the world like.
And the world choreographs around me and understands it.
It's literally what I did in high school. Like I would
Yeah.
walk from class to class with my headphones in and be like, "Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air," and I'd be walking and like everyone would be around me like walking in classes, and I'd
like
be like
a virgin.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it'd be like me walking, and it's like, God, this song like it portrays to my life. Except at my time, like I was just listening to sad music from Grey's Anatomy. It was like, God, this could be a really great music video. It's like what Glee was supposed to be.
Sure,
but it kind of was. But then it was started to be like, we're gonna only do songs that have the word like jazz in them because it's a jazz
Britney
episode.
Spears
Yeah.
only episode.
It's a Madonna episode. It's an episode where we only sing songs that have the word God in them because it's religious. And it's
Right.
like, fuck you, Ryan Murphy. Stop ruining good ideas.
Right.
Have the good ideas. We love your ideas. Stop doing them yourself, though.
Well, this is in that line of being like, okay, I personally would have found like the closest of something I could do without getting sued of a song, and then changing it to like Toxic Waste.
That's
and
kind of what they
Troma
had.
and stuff like that.
One of the songs in this movie was kind of a I can't remember which one it was.
Is it the end credits one?
No, it plays at the start, it plays a little bit in the middle, and it's that kind of sweet like swing, like not like Jerry Baby, but along those lines. It's just like doo-wop. Like a very doo-wop song, except the doo-wop song that they play in this is like, then you go and you die in Troma. It's got like lyrics like that. And so, like, it reminded me a lot of some song, but now I can't think of it at all.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I want. I wanted something
and
poppy,
that would have been good, yeah.
Right? To do that kind of thing. And that didn't happen, but it's okay. It's just when I heard the barbershop type songs, I was like, I did that, but that's not Glee.
I think it's just easy for them because
we did a lot of Disney songs when I was in my show choir.
Well, I can just imagine them being like, oh, we don't have to worry about royalties, and we can throw 5 guys or 4 guys in a recording studio and have them knock 3 songs out and pay them $300, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Like,
no, of course.
Yeah.
That was but that's only a personal experience of being like, that's not Glee, that's a quartet, you know. But either way, they're singing Amazing Grace and then begin to mutate into their Cretin form, which is,
and all the Cretins have a throwback to like a different Cretin.
They do, right? And
so
I didn't quite notice it. The girl is like Gonzo.
Well, the girl is the mix of the other girl and the guy and Gonzo.
Yeah,
she has both in her. And then the main guy, I was like, did they replace him with an older man, but like keep the body? Because he's a really hot body. I was like, I don't know how to feel right now.
Right? He looks like Leonard from Big Bang if he had like a lot of like face crack makeup on, right? Which, did you know that that's Leonard from Big Bang is the kid from Christmas Vacation? He's Rusty in that one.
No,
Yeah,
I
you didn't know that?
No.
Everybody's always surprised when I reveal that one. Like, that's a
Probably
piece of
because
trivia.
I don't like Big Bang Theory.
No, but like it's one of those things where it's like that's what that kid became. Like it's crazy, you know. But so they mutate into the Cretans, which the Cretans is a full throwback to the honor students from the first movie that then mutated into the most violent gang in the school.
And everyone runs out.
Which is funny because gangs really aren't a thing in schools like that.
Well,
I don't think they might. Well, punk rock was, right? Because they're clearly a
nowadays
punk rock
there
reference.
are gangs, but they're a lot different.
Right.
We have a coworker that used to be in a gang.
What?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Right? Because
it's the one person you would expect too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So can't wait to discuss that one. Anyway,
it's actually the coolest story. Sorry.
Okay. So they immediately freak everybody out because they're, like I said, they're zombie-ish. They're not like in this moment. They're like,
they're falling apart. They're vomiting.
Yeah, they're like
literally dying off the stage.
Dawn of the Dead remake style zombies, right? Or 28 Days Later. Like they're like screeching and like running after
60
people.
minutes.
60 minutes.
You just said a number.
Oh, no,
it's 28 days later. And then my first thought was, I know,
later.
60 minutes.
No, I'm just saying that style of zombie or World War Z. Like they're running, they're screaming, they're insane. Like, you know, that kind. Not slow moving zombies, right? And they start terrorizing, but then they immediately get their wits about them and then they start driving cars, right?
Souped up cars.
Yep. And then the movie itself in a title card says they inexplicably change costumes, change looks, and like already are like ready to go. So that's fun. It's like I can't even be like, how'd they get the cars? I can't do what we normally do on this show.
But this is also when we get our car explosion scene.
Yes, this is the Sergeant Kabuki Man reused footage scene.
And so that happens. Then they go to knock off Niagara Falls.
No, it actually is.
So
the high school that they filmed at was Niagara Falls High. It was like closed down. So like this is all done around Niagara Falls.
Nice.
Right? Which Troma is based out of New York. So like everything they do is Jersey and New York anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, so and they even do they had a photo op in the opening credit scene that was like a guy in a barrel of Niagara Falls. So like I guess Troma is also close to Niagara.
Right.
Or I don't know, because I always thought Troma was just across the way in Jersey from New York, right?
Who knows?
I believe a real power plant is there, you know? I don't know. I don't know Jersey. I'm not a Jerzologist.
So then they go to the falls and they introduce a teacher where it was like, we were going to introduce her
Mrs.
earlier,
Crabtree?
but we didn't because we didn't want to distract from her putting a condom on a banana because that was a pretty good scene. I was like, I like that.
Oh, I
love
love all these title cards.
We were going to do this, but like we didn't want to distract.
What was the nerdy ones? Like, said by scientific researchers to probably cure cancer within the next week.
Yeah. No, it was super smart kid is literally about to cure cancer in
and then we killed
moments. It said like in moments or minutes. Like has the cure for cancer in his brain and will realize it in minutes.
Yeah.
But then he dies.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So they start singing, and now because of their superpowers, they used to, when they were singing Amazing Grace, they were horrible. Yeah. And like it was horrible to hear even. I was just like somebody who could sing, I was like, this is painful. Yeah. And now they're like amazing harmonies, like, and that's funny too. Sweet Adeline.
Sweet Caroline.
Not Caroline.
Sweet
That's ba ba ba. No, it's Sweet Adeline.
That's a bop bop bop.
And they're singing this to her, and like I thought about this too. I was like, ooh, that'd be a good actual scary horror movie. Is like literally a group of killers that stalk their prey and then sing to them before they kill them. Like Like, and they're good. They're like good singers, and like because this, if they weren't wearing this makeup, I feel like, and it was like in a different context, 4 people that are like singing to you before they're gonna slit your throat, like that's pretty fucking scary.
I mean, if I'm in a dark alley and I start hearing like 4 gay dudes singing "Umbrella" by Rihanna, I'm not gonna be worried. Like one's in the back like, and the other one's like and then the other one's like under my umbrella, and they're like coming towards me with knives. I'd be like, good joke, you're gay. Which one of you is single and desperate for dating me? And then they would probably not talk to me anymore. That's how I would survive. Yeah. But
when the sky comes, we'll run together.
And I'd be like, and just walk away. I'm like, that's cute. You're blocking the exit. And they're like,
stop him.
I 100%. I'll probably not get murdered just because I'll pass the person that's like trying to murder me, and I'll be like, you're really in my way right now. I'm in a hurry. And they'll be like, oh, okay, geez, sorry. Yeah. So then, they throw the teacher over the waterfall. We assume she dies. And then they grab our dog and they throw the dog over the waterfall, too.
Callan would have hated this.
The dog
like, she finally would have quit on her own.
Yeah. The dog literally doesn't, like, it's not like the dog just falls in the waterfall. Like, they show the lady disappear into the water, but then the dog they show, like, hit a rock and explode. Like, oh.
It's a dummy that just.
So then at the same time in this park, we see our rich bitch, Lauren.
Yeah.
She finds her duck, Kevin. And she's like, yay, I found Kevin. But then the poofs, they find her and they're like, woo, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
And they do what they call duck rape.
Duck rape. Well, it's not quite rape.
Yeah,
like,
which in the trailer I was like, oh man, they're going to stick a duck's like face in her vagina. But they end up just shoving the duck in her mouth and it like gets stuck there. And then you get this montage of her running around town like trying to get people to help her pull a duck out of her mouth.
This is another example of like too far for me, where I was just like...
It was a little too far in this one, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, just like, grab it and pull it out yourself. Like... Or clearly somebody would have helped you. Like, it goes on too far of being like all these people. I did like the amputee.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, sorry,
I can't. I would help, but I don't have arms.
He's trying to shrug his shoulders to show, like, rah. But, yeah, this is where I was like, just somebody pull it out. Or, like, let her run into her, like, immediately. Please don't. And they just kept going. But, she runs into Chrissy, and Chrissy goes home, takes her back to her house, and finally gets the duck out.
But not before realizing that the duck has chewing gum legs.
Yeah, it's like just Stretch Armstrong legs.
Stretch Armstrong that doesn't recoil.
Yeah, because they're
just silly putty.
They're like doing pretend like pull-ups with it and stuff. And it finally comes out, and then this is another opportunity.
As she's running around, though, the duck lays eggs. It lays 3 eggs.
He pops out eggs. Yeah. I'm not quite sure, because it doesn't show them, like, drop on the ground. And I saw what you were saying about, like, hopefully those eggs come into play. If they had shown a shot of them dropping on the ground or, like, cut back to them, I would say that that's going to apply more. But I just don't know. What is established is that the duck... at some point, drank some toxic waste.
Yes.
And
she found the duck in the park eating toxic waste, and then they shoved it down her throat. So whenever they pull the duck out, the duck has like glowing green teeth, and the not Lauren but Chrissy, she goes, "Oh, the duck probably got into some bath salts."
Yeah,
she was like,
that's
excuse,
good.
Which I love that because I love. It was my favorite thing about Buffy the Vampire Slayer is constantly saying, "Oh, the meth heads." The meth heads.
I never watched that show, but
my god,
I'm sorry.
Every time
I watched the movie, I love that movie.
Well, every time something bad would happen in the school, or like,
that's my favorite part.
Every time something bad would happen in the school, or like something would get broken into, they would just blame it on the meth heads.
Okay.
Instead of the vampires.
Sure.
Is like how they got away with it.
But was that code? Yeah. Or they were actually blaming
No,
it on
it was literally like, God, our town has such a problem with meth heads.
Oh, okay.
Is literally like...
Interesting.
Poor Sunnydale.
Okay. So then after this... They pretty much have bonded. Like Laura and Chrissy
she's
have
like,
bonded.
I gotta go to a party tonight, and she's like, oh, I should let you leave and get ready for it. And she's like, no, I mean like, you come with me.
Right.
And so they kind of have this like subtle lesbian thing going.
Right.
Which turns into a
but it also
literal lesbian
it extended
thing.
back to like when they had their little cat fight in the cafeteria. They got we skipped over a scene where they got detention, and then Chrissy was going to get in trouble for something in detention that I don't recall, but
for talking.
Okay, but Lauren is like, "Oh, it was my fault," and defends her.
I knew I needed friends, and I was talking.
Right.
And the lady's like, "Okay, just don't do it again."
Which is like a man voice.
Don't do it again.
Right. But that kind of established, like, I kind of like her. She's not really a rich bitch, you know. Like the crush started on Chrissy's end, at least, right? So because it doesn't seem like Lauren doesn't have lesbianic feelings.
Lesbianic feelers.
Lesbianic.
Let's be honest.
Until, and this is the weird part where it's like, it seems like her drinking the Troma Organic brand, whatever was at the frat party we're about to go to, is what gives her lesbian feelings, right? Like, because she didn't have, like, it's all on Chrissy's side, right? And it's already established that Chrissy herself doesn't let Eugene go down on her. She's not attracted to him, and, like, but Lauren doesn't seem to have those feelings.
Well, we haven't really had any like experience with Lauren in a sexual sense, so we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't label.
Yeah, right. So they're having this house party. Toxie himself is at the house party, like just partying, which I loved. And then Lauren drinks the Troma Granite. Melvin. Yep, Melvin.
Melvin was a 90-pound weakling until nuclear waste transformed him into
the Toxic Avenger. Right?
Really? Like, why isn't he been in the Marvel Universe yet? He's an Avenger.
I would, right?
It's just a toxic Avenger.
Guys.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. Let's remember to tell Lloyd this for the next. Like, let's get him in, right? Or let's just insert him into Avengers. Let's edit him into Avengers. Okay, you want to do that?
Yeah. This is also, though, like, the point of the movie. Like, I didn't realize how far this movie was going to go into what they copied from the first one, but I was like, they have a lot of ground to cover for what is left in this movie. Because it's surprisingly, like, the movie's only an hour and 15, if that.
Oh, yeah.
Closer, I think it was an hour and 11. But, like, you're at 55 minutes, and this house party is, like, just like where we're at.
Right.
There's 20 minutes left in the film.
Which
basically.
In Class of Nuke Em High, that's in the first 30 minutes is when you go to... Now, this is a real frat party versus Nuke Em High's nightclub.
This is a house party, not a frat party.
Right.
Difference.
Well, yeah, that's right. House party. But
don't even. Okay.
Versus Nuke Em High's 80s nightclub.
Yeah. Right?
It's way different. Right? This was more like actual Animal House.
I got really excited for my college yesterday because I was watching Forensic Files. And my university was on it for a murder that happened in 2004.
Right.
Way to go, University of Missouri. Woo! Murder. And then, so...
Lauren drinks the Troma Organic, and then it immediately is like, let's go dance. And they start dancing.
And her eyes are like... Meow.
Right. And then there's a band that's playing.
Yeah.
And they're playing this song. Here's the song. Here we go.
Let's dance.
Okay.
This is the last song I'll ever write. Gonna kill myself tonight. This is the last song I'll ever write. Gonna kill myself tonight. This is the last song I'll ever write. Gonna kill myself tonight. This is the last song.
Now, this song doesn't have a verse. It's just a chorus that keeps going over and over and over again, right?
Is this...
And it doesn't... I'm not quite catching the in-joke other than the fact that it's like, oh, we're making fun of, like, emo songs, I guess, right? But it doesn't exactly apply to their, like sexy dancing, like, having a moment thing.
I've also, though, like, I've never been to a house party. I've never been to a party with a live band.
No?
Unless it's, like...
Oh, like you have not partied then.
Oh, I've partied.
I party, bro.
I'm not gonna dance to someone covering a song, like with guitars and stuff.
You wouldn't dance to like a cover band? Because this isn't a cover band. I wouldn't dance to like if somebody's like "Kill Myself."
Yeah,
you know, I'm not gonna dance to that. I'd be like, "What the fuck? This is not a song." Yeah. Right?
No, I wouldn't dance to like original songs. Maybe a cover band. I've done it before, but that was at a street party like in my hometown. But like I've never like if I've been to a house party, it's just like music playing in the background, or it's like a DJ.
Yeah, I just
it's like I don't want to listen to a Beatles cover band.
No, well, it wouldn't be a Beatles cover band. Like there's and those who are listening, like go check them out. They're called Saved by the Band. They're a '90s cover band. They're fucking amazing, right? And they do a lot of weddings and a lot of house parties, and it's a lot of fucking fun. It's a blast. And so yeah, absolutely. You haven't gone to like a band
ever do
party?
Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No.
That's my go-to karaoke song. And once someone came up after and was like,
they try to stick to pop and rap as much as possible. They do a little bit, no doubt.
Rap.
And they do.
I love No Doubt.
They also do. What's it called? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of dead air.
You've invited me to a show of theirs before, so we'll go to another one.
Check them out. There's your shout out, guys.
They're dancing,
sponsored by Saved by the Band this episode. Right?
So they're dancing, and then Lauren's eyes glow green
for a second, which that was like, weird. Right? You're like, okay.
And then they go upstairs,
right? And they have sex. Yeah. And mid-sex, there's
Chrissy makes a comment though. She's like, "Oh, it's not really like ready." Or she said, "What does she say?" As she's getting into the bed, and is like, "Oh, at least it's like lived in," because there's trash everywhere because it's a foreclosed home.
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
She like throws shit off the bed,
which is weird because like the guy whose home it is.
Oh, that's my favorite
like a
character.
Preppy black guy.
Okay, so my favorite character throughout the entire series or the entire movie, it's one guy. He's black, and it's literally his title card. It shows his name, but then it just says he's black.
Yeah,
along those lines, more or less. But he's actually like he's the most like knowledgeable and like self-aware character,
and he was doing the whole.
He's like, it's my foreclosed home that the party's in.
Yeah,
like, he's like, don't trash it, but then they end up burning it down.
Mind you, that it was a not abandoned or maybe but it was shut down. What's a mortuary?
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
yeah, right.
Ooh,
and so they were in the basement of the whole party was filmed in the basement for the most part of this abandoned like funeral parlor.
They're like, they used to put makeup on dead people here. Woo.
Yeah,
Woo.
Woo. Yeah, right. But it's definitely like it looks like a Detroit house. It's clearly it's like it's probably in the Bronx, like from like 1990s, the Bronx Warriors. Yeah. Like it's just like there's a plot immediately next to it of a house that got torn down.
Downtown Detroit.
Yeah. So
like that was our city hall.
Yeah.
Sorry, Detroit.
Yeah. So right, just wait for RoboCop. He'll clean up the whole city.
Yeah.
So. After there's a sex scene, a mid-sex scene, they cut over to the party again, and there's
Eugene.
Huh? Well, no. What I'm talking about is there's an Asian girl that like cuts her wrist and then like rubs the wrist full of blood.
She like cuts her wrist.
Big guy
has a big guy lick the razor blade. And he's like, "That's pretty good," and she like rubs her blood on him, and he's like,
then they cut back to more sex, and I was like, "What was that? What just happened? Why did that happen?" Like, once again, might be a reference that I'm totally lost on, but there are cutaways in this thing that make me go, what the fuck? What just happened? Right? I do have to say, like, I'm really glad the movie's editing is not as frantic as the original. Like, it's not like flash. Yeah, it's really, that's what I was saying, cinematically and editing and pacing, it's really well put together.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, then Eugene, right?
Yeah,
this is
Eugene,
where you get another penis.
Yeah, he
broke up with Chrissy via text at the beginning of the party.
Yeah, and there's this girl. She's pretty hot. He's like into it. She shows her boobs immediately, and he's like trying to get in her. I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
Gross. I hate that. And then there's like
I want to touch it. I want to touch your vagina.
A very obvious 6-inch dildo in place of a penis. And he's like, oh, and it's literally like 30 seconds of him being like, there's a penis there where it's not supposed to be, and I don't know, what do I do, but I really want to have sex, and there's a penis, but what am I supposed to do with my penis, because there are two penises here.
In that monologue, he had he was talking about conflicting feelings anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not opposed to what he's seeing right now. He's just conflicted on whether or not he goes with it or not, right? So that's an interesting thing, and I mean it's a cool bit, but it's so at the tail end that I don't really give a shit about Eugene at this point.
Yeah.
So I
just give a shit about his muscles.
Oh. Yeah, and I'm already focused on Chrissy and Lauren. That I don't care about Eugene. So this is such a kind of throwaway, especially because the Cretans have arrived outside of the party, and they have lit a Molotov cocktail and thrown it through the living room window, and then are just let's get out of here, and that's it. Right?
Yep. And so upstairs we have Chrissy and Lauren, and they're talking, and they're like, what if we went public? And Lauren's like, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, because what does LGBTQ stand for? In Tromaville?
I don't remember. I was like, it was offensive.
Grope, bully, torture.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh.
LGBT.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially in the Troma world.
Yeah.
Right? I really like that one. I like that it's a social commentary because honestly, it's not just Troma.
Yeah.
That was a very well written kind of social commentary right there.
They're aware. They know.
Right? Oh yeah. So everybody gets out of the party before the place goes up in flames, and
they
Chrissy,
go home to relax.
Yeah, they part their ways. And this is where it's very much a recreation of after Warren and I think her name was Chrissy too.
Yeah.
Right? Back in that movie. Either way, Chrissy's playing the Warren part anyway, so the roles are reversed. But they go home and they have straight out of it where one of them is dreaming that they have become impregnated after having sex, which is even equally more funny than the last time because that can't happen.
Yeah.
And then the other one is now dreaming that they've become the man in the situation and grew a massive penis. And this time, it's not undercovers like Warren's was. It's a real 3-foot penis.
And big balls, too.
Huge, right? But I guess we don't know if it's a dream or not.
It's reality.
Right, but because they go, were we dreaming or were we like Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde last night?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Later on. But what happens next is that we go to the Cretans' hideout, and it seems that the Cretans have increased in size and as a gang, right? Their numbers are increasing, and they have a hideout now. And then Chrissy and Lauren show up, and they're very superhero-esque, just like Warren was back in the last one. And they decide that they are going to get revenge on the cripple one that duck-raped Lauren, right?
Yeah.
And she takes her giant dick and dick slaps him in the face. Yeah. I thought his head was going to roll off. But then, and I really thought that they actually did kill him here until I saw him another scene later.
I thought they just crushed his arms. So they were like, ha, paraplegic, and now you also can't use your arms.
Oh, that's great. Because
but
he also has
he can use his arms
he also
later.
has and I think it's in a line that he sings or something, but something about you don't know a marathon until you've run it 2 miles a day with your arms or something, right? And I was like, that's great too. So they start beating him up. What's interesting is all the Cretans kind of just stand by and watch as individual people get beat up, right? And one could say that it's because of they're actually shooting heroin when they show up and interrupt them.
Oh yeah, they're singing a song while shooting heroin.
Yeah, they got the rubber tubes wrapped around their arm. They're ready to go. And this is also where Lauren sprays acidic milk out of her breasts.
Yeah.
Right? Which is also funny, too, because you're, like, once again, just bringing it up, but logic doesn't matter. Like, it's acidic to everybody but her.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah, sprays it out into a bunch of people's eyes.
Comes out of snakes' teeth, but snakes are fine.
Right? There's 2 others that, like, get, like, smash their skulls together.
Oh, yeah, their heads are destroyed.
And then there's one other guy where Lauren's pregnant belly, like a monster splits out of it, right? But it's like a tentacle monster that's still attached to her.
Yeah.
Right? Goes through the chest of somebody, grabs that person's heart, comes back, and then feeds said heart to Chrissy's gigantic penis that splits open into 4 like it's Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
And this is the point where, you're very tame and very okay with all this. This is the point where it was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, this movie saw the original and was like, let's just amp it up to another level. Like, it's insane. And I love it. I was just like, whoa. Right? Yeah. I think, personally, I could have done without the giant penis. But I get it.
It's because you're straight.
Yeah, right. You loved it.
No, I didn't love it. I thought it was gross. But
yeah. No, I just like and this after that, apparently there's a character we haven't really discussed, which is like albino. I'll call him albino Timmy or whatever.
Yeah, he's like
right. He's gross. He has like scraggly like beard, like blondie beard hair. And he's
just kind of always
had a
been
crush
around
on
for
Lauren,
every scene.
and I think that's why he was around, and he was following Lauren, right? He kind of comes out of nowhere for this scene, right? They run away, and now the Cretans are pissed, just like the original Cretans were for Warren when he killed gang members. The Cretans are like, get dirt on them.
We don't know who they are, but we want to mess them up.
Right? Something like that, right? These Cretans don't seem as bright or, like, articulate as the original Cretans at all.
Well, that's because the original Cretans were,
primal.
like, honor students, and these are just glee kids. You don't have to be smart to sing.
No, but, like, I mean, in this sense, like, they're very more animalistic and primal, too.
Well, so the blonde guy, he shows up and he's like, I want to be part of your gang, I guess. And they're like, you're going to do our dirty work. So he is in charge of getting dirty information on the 2 girls, which the 2 girls, when they were in the bedroom, they were like, we should go public. And one was like, I don't think we should, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day is the school day.
Sure. Now, that was in a movie that doesn't actually have an ending because it continues on to Volume 2.
Yeah.
You could say that the battle that we just described is the kind of climax. In this climax, though, also, and what's interesting about this film is that this movie, as part of their like 40th anniversary, was pitched with the inspiration of Quentin Tarantino's Grindhouse films.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's why it breaks the fourth wall. And in this climax also has like where it's like a bumper from management, like a disclaimer about things, and also like a clipped reel and about like pregnancy. Yeah, right? Which I loved. I was like, yes. Now, it was Quentin Tarantino himself that suggested to Lloyd to turn this into a 2-parter as an homage to the Grindhouse films. So like that's where all this is kind of coming from in these final moments too. Is like so another like I'm like awesome. Like you referenced something that I loved so much. Like and awesome ourselves like when it comes to our promo materials and things on the website that we do is completely taken from like VHS and Grindhouse and stuff like that. So like awesome. I loved it. I love this little bumper. But then the film kind of in, I guess, like, you know, a 2-parter, 2-volume fashion, kind of has this extra tacked on 15 minutes after a climax to, like, get you ready for the next one. And it kind of, like, drags in this moment. Because, like, I'm just like, well, where do we go from here? Like, I know that this movie's about to finish, but I know we got more. So what happens is we're established that Lauren and Chrissy still don't want to go public, but they acknowledge that they do indeed, it wasn't a fling, and they do indeed have feelings for each other, and they make out, right? Meanwhile, albino kid has been filming them on his phone, so now he's got dirt that they are indeed lesbians, which is probably a bad thing in the town of Troma, right? Yeah. While that's also happening, you have Chrissy is in science class now after this, and so is the Gonzo-esque girl, like, of the Cretan gang. Because the Cretans are still going to school, right? And the teacher is instructing people about this new laser, which I'm like, okay, we're going to do the laser thing from the first one too, right? And he turns the laser on, and there's a mirror for some reason in the school, and the laser bounces in the mirror and hits his eye and explodes his eyeball out, right? And then Chrissy and I'll just call her Gonzo Girl, like, get into a fight. She rips the nose ring out of her nose, just like they did in the last one. But I wish they would have gone for the full giant nose ring like the last one. Like, it just would have been fun. But either way, she rips that out, just like Warren did for the first movie. And they get into a brawl, and somehow the science teacher blames Chrissy for the brawl. I forget why.
Well, because Chrissy started it.
And that's all it takes. Sends her to detention. Right? So after that, the teacher's other eyeball explodes. Oh, because the Cretan girl vomits into his face, which then his face starts melting a little bit, and his eyeball explodes, and now he's blind. And then you see Lauren taking a shower, and seems to be a little bit of an homage to Carrie.
Yeah.
Right? I definitely noticed that, because, like, blood's streaming down her legs, and then toxic waste is streaming down her legs. She reaches down to clean herself in that area and looks up into her hand, and it's full of blood and toxic waste. Boom. To be continued. Awesome.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with this.
Yeah.
Like, it was a blast.
I loved it.
It was absolutely a blast. What are your W's? For our new listeners, W's are who, what, where, when, and why. Would you recommend this?
I would recommend it for anyone with more of a abstract portion of comedy, I guess.
Yep.
I don't think that it's needed, but if you definitely, like, kind of don't go at things very much, like, head on, and you kind of work around it, like, and have comedy about it, it's a good film. I like it. It's neat. I wouldn't say that it's Oscar worthy. But, you know, it's fun.
No, yeah, absolutely. Anybody who's a fan of B-movie cinema, Grindhouse, anything like that, this is... Excuse...
Oh, my God.
This is definitely... I know, right? This is definitely a film that is an homage to those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, if you loved Tarantino's Grindhouse, if you loved... basically anything from that era, or you're a Troma fan, like, boom, this is going to be great for you.
Yeah.
I think I really do say watch the first one and then watch this to, like, just get it all caught up, because they're all fun too. So, like, who would I recommend this to? That kind of people. Why? Because it's fucking fun. This is fun.
We get it.
Like,
it's fun.
Yeah. And where would you watch this? At a party, I would do it as like a drinking party. Yeah. Absolutely, it's a lot of fun. So we also come up with a bit of, like, alternate titles. Do you have any alternate titles for this film?
Ooh. No, because I thought it was better. It is what it is. I thought it was good as it is.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't really have, and that's the thing, is we usually come up with 5-star reviews as well. Our bit, Gimme 5, and everything on here, and it's because it's also so new. Every review that we have is also, like, there's only 16 reviews on IMDb, and there's only one 10 out of 10. Well, there's actually 2 that I can find, right? But they're just... everybody knows that this isn't a bad film
everyone
like that.
that has written a review knows what kind of film they're watching. Instead of like, oh, they just watched a bad film and loved it. This is just like, oh, they just
for example, one review is like, this movie is just awesome. It's super cheesy with bright colors and brings you back to the 80s. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
You have another review that's like, Troma fans will relish return to the class of Nuke Em High because it has the hottest girls and the campiest plot. It's like, everybody is aware. So I can't even find a review that somebody is impassionate about this film without being aware of its history and where it is. You know, I can't find somebody who is just like, I'd never seen anything like this, and it's the most amazing piece of cinema ever. Like, everybody knows what this is, you know?
Course.
So our normal things that we normally do in this show, all rules have been off when it comes to this class of Nuke Em series.
Yeah.
And I sure as hell am having a great time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an extremely special treat for you when it comes to Return to Nuke Em High Volume 2. That is going to come out tomorrow for those who are listening, the first day that this comes out. Lloyd Kaufman, the director and the president of Troma Films himself, will be here to rip on his own movie, to give us insights to the questions that we have had burning for 2 episodes now, and I'm sure we'll have on the finale of it all, to give us behind-the-scenes making of, to give us the budgets that we don't seem to have for these films, all of it. Like, this is an exclusive interview in a way that is, honestly, I don't think has ever been done when it comes to interviewing Lloyd or Troma as itself. Like, most people are like, how'd you get into business, stuff like that. That's all in the book. Go read the books, you know, go or listen to the documentaries. Like, we are actually asking him to sit down with us and do what we do to his own film.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a little bit nervous because it's like, we are openly acknowledging that we are going to rip on a film in front of the person who made a living out of it, like a lifestyle, you know. So there's a little bit inside, and as I record this, talking about this, we haven't done it yet. So like, this is a genuine thing from me of saying like, this is super exciting because this is monumental for the show to actually have the maker of the show, or maker of the movie that we're ripping on, right here in front of us, but then also have him be totally down.
Yeah.
Right? Because
it's scary.
Yeah.
I'm leaking toxic goo in my pants.
And I'll tell him tomorrow too, is like Lloyd, at any given time, you can tell us to go fuck off. You know, just fuck off, drop the headphones and run out. But like, that's the really cool part about what I think Troma and the last 40 years of Lloyd's career really brings to the table, is that like, he is in on his own joke. And I think this is going to be an amazing interview, so I hope everybody stays tuned. And if you are in the Southern California area and you're listening to this, there still are tickets available for the LA premiere of Return to Nuke Em High Volume 2. That will be at the LaMammele. I still can't do it. LaMMLE.com. It's up in LA. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday when it came out, it's tomorrow, March 8th, 2018. There's a premiere of Return to Nuke Em High Volume 2. Please join us for that. We're going to be up there. We're going to be with Lloyd. There's going to be a Q&A afterwards where there's going to be more questions, but hopefully in the Q&A, he's like, just listen to us.
Right.
You know? So do you have anything to promote other than that, Jared?
No, we had a lot promoted just then right there.
Absolutely. Next week is our St. Paddy's Day episode, which is Leprechaun, 1993's Leprechaun. So if you are in the mood for a St. Paddy's Day horror, we got another great one for you. I'll tell you that. Other than that, please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Sorry, I'm not even going to describe what I just saw. Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes if this is your first episode. You can also follow us Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Bombs Away Show. Contact us if you have pieces of trivia. We got something wrong. I'm sure we did on this. There's 40 years of Troma history that like we're probably missing, and they're like, you didn't.
We suck.
Yeah,
so.
they're like, you didn't catch this, and you didn't catch that, and you like, well, let us know. And I swear to God, we'll shout you out. We'll give you credit for it all on our Shorties episodes. Our Shorty episodes are where we give you a preview of the upcoming month worth of episodes, and we take the time to acknowledge you, the listener. So let us know everything we missed. I'm sure there is. I'm sure Lloyd himself will probably be like, you missed a ton of shit. Right? But that's fine. Let us know. You can write to us or make a comment on our Facebooks and stuff like that. Write to us, contact@bombsawayshow.com. That just about does it for me. You got anything?
I already said no.
Oh, that's right. I did. Yeah. Please join us for tomorrow's episode. We're extremely excited. Make sure you share that episode. Share the fact that we were with Lloyd and he was able to participate in this. That just about does it. My name is Jonathan.
I'm Jarrett. I won't say it as fast as Jonathan just did. Scatting our way out of this episode. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, president of Troma Entertainment and creator of the Toxic Avenger. You know, folks, when the Troma team and I are not making those great movies like Tromeo and Juliet and Return to Nuke Em High Volumes 1 and 2, we like to attend the amazing screenings at the Frida Cinema, because the Frida Cinema is the best programming, the best movies, the best way to spend a couple of hours in the entire world. And remember, folks, Toxie reminds you to go to the FridaCinema.org and push that donation button and look at all those great shows. There was a Troma month. There was even a Troma month. Oh my gosh, the humanity.
This has been a production of Big Bulb Entertainment, executive produced by Jonathan Young. For more media and information, visit us at www.bigbulbentertainment.com. Big Bulb, what's your bright idea?